Finally, TV One featured 702 on the series Unsung. Long overdue. It was a great episode. They did a good job, but I got a lot to say because they left a lot out. Stay tuned. Hello everybody. This is your girl, Miss Analytical, returning with another video. I'm here in NYC on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. It's very hot outside, which is why my ass is indoors. And I said it just like that. But still with the heat, I had to bring you another one. And it's going to get hot. And I'm not talking about the heat. I'm talking about this audio. Because I'm not playing. I'm not playing any games with this one. I finally saw the 702 Unsung. I've been waiting for this one for years. I would say at least since 2012. This episode is long overdue. And they were deserving of an Unsung because these young ladies are the epitome of the definition of unsung. And I'm going to tell you something. TV One, you did a good job. You did a good job. You brought it. But you could have went a little bit harder. You left one thing out, but I'm going to save it until the middle of this audio. So, as you know, 702 is Unsung, which is why they were featured on Unsung. For those of you who were around during the 1990s, we lived to see this group blow up. They did blow up, you know. Now, they didn't blow up as big as their competition, and I'm going to get to that shortly. But they did blow up in the sense that they had top 10 hits and they did have a number one song and their singles did go gold and platinum. Their album even did go gold and platinum, but it took a lot longer because of promotion, which I'm going to get to because I have my criticism of it. Now, I personally like 702 in the initial phase, meaning I liked them in the beginning when they first came out. Now, I'm going to give you a background of their bio. 702 is named after their hometown, 702, which is the area code of the city of Las Vegas, Nevada. The group was formed pretty much in the late 1980s. It consists of a family act. It was formulated around the oldest sibling in the group, Lamisha Grinstead. The Grinstead siblings come from Las Vegas by way of Houston, Texas, and Louisiana. Their mother was from Houston, Texas, and they're from Houston, Texas, which is where their mother was from. But their father his roots are in Louisiana. Okay, which is why if you ever hear how they speak, excuse me, if you ever hear how they speak with a southern twang. That's because they were born in Houston, Texas. They were born there, but they moved to Las Vegas, Nevada when they were young. Now, it was discovered in Nevada, that's how they pretty much formed their group, Sweeter Than Sugar. And the young lady, Lamisha, was the lead singer of Sweeter Than Sugar. And she had her two twin sisters, Orish and Irish, there. And they performed different venues. They were a local talent act. They pretty much performed throughout Las Vegas, Nevada, even somewhat in like the local Cali area. And they pretty much did shows like they performed, you know, the national anthem at games. They also were like the opening act for like the talents that were gonna like up and coming. They were that local act. They performed in malls. Sweeter Than Sugar was up and coming. Then they decided to bring in another group. Now, this decision wasn't really made by them. It was made by some people who were managing. They was like, you know, you need another person in your group to kind of like, sort of like polish them up. So they brought in a girl named Amelia Cruz. Amelia Cruz, she was the type of girl that was a total performer in that she was a classically trained singer, a trained dancer. She could even play instruments. She even could act. She was the total package of entertainment. So with her, they completed the whole concept of Sweeter Than Sugar, but Lamisha was still the lead. I actually prefer that group, that part of Sweeter Than Sugar, which we would know as 702. Now 702 comes along by way of Sinbad. They were discovered in the lobby of Caesar's Palace. Now they will occasionally sing at this venue because remember, this is Las Vegas. This is where all the casinos are. So it would be smart to put yourself in a position where entertainers are coming in and out, or even music cassettes, because hey, like we can get noticed quicker here. They're actually trying to, shop for deals at the actual offices. We could be noticed by a famous person right here in a Las Vegas casino. So they was performing there. They saw Sinbad, they sung for Sinbad, and Sinbad liked them so much, he visited their home and convinced their parents to send them to Atlanta for a convention and a music competition. Now, if you remember around this time, we're dealing with the early 1990s. Atlanta was the up and coming place to get a record deal if you wanted to be an R&B star. If you wanted to sing R&B, not even rap, but R&B, you went to Atlanta in the 90s. You didn't go to New York, really. You didn't even go to Cali. Cali was more in the 80s with the whole, R&B, the solar, the sound of Los Angeles records. That was where you went to in the 80s. In the 70s, in the 60s, you went to New York, and even in the early 70s. But like in late 70s, in the 80s, you went to Cali. The late 80s, they was going back to New York. But by the 90s, it was all about Atlanta. So pretty much, they went to a convention music competition. But even though they missed the deadline, Sinbad used his name to get them in. This is a known fact. Now, at this competition, they came in at second place. But at the competition, they met Michael Bivins. And they said, Mr. Bivins, can we sing for you? So he was like, listen, I only got a minute. Give me what y'all got. So they sung for him, and he loved it. He loved their sound. And he was like, bet, listen, got it. I want to sign y'all to my new record label, Biv 10. Now, at this time, he was working with the iconic act Boyz II Men. And so he said to them, I really want to, change the group around. Now, chronologically, Amelia Cruz, she came in around this time. She wasn't there in the beginning. She comes in around this time with the whole Sinbad discovery and with Michael Bivins. So she came in just around the time when they were getting their big break. So Michael Bivins, he was like, I like the look, I like the sound pretty much, but I don't like the name because it's not really catchy. It's not memorable. Change your name. So they was like, okay, what do we change it to? He said something that's really obvious. Y'all come from Las Vegas, call yourselves 702, which I think that was a genius idea. And here's why. Most groups were going by word names. At that time, nobody was a number group, pretty much. So to call yourself a number group, go by a number group, was perfect because that would be very memorable. So it's a Las Vegas area code. It's catchy. They went by that. Now, around this time, he was working on another male act called Subway. Subway was up and coming. And they had this song called This Little Game We Play, which to me, that song was hot. So, genius idea. Let's put this up and coming male R&B teen act together with this up and coming female teen R&B act. Subway's from Chicago. They from Las Vegas. Let them meet. Let them sing this song together. Let's film this in New York because New York got what? A whole bunch of subways. And they actually filmed the video on 155th Street in Harlem. That subway station that you see is a real subway station. That's not a prop. That whole area is real. At that time, Harlem was looking like a crack zone. But that when they go down that subway, That is a real subway. What you see, the yellow building, that wasn't a prop. That was real. Now, this song, this little game that we play, is a big hit. These are people that we never seen heard of before. The song goes number 4 on the R&B charts, which is pretty good. But the song becomes a top 15 hit on the pop charts, and its entry is number 15, which to me was outstanding. Here's why. Number 1, they were an unknown group. Number 2, you got Brandy, Aaliyah, and then we got somebody known as Monica about to come up. And this is all their competitions. And they were able to compete with the solo acts. That's why what I'm about to say may rub some people the wrong way. There was nothing wrong with 702 the way it was. Okay? I personally liked the original group because I felt it was more genuine. I didn't feel that it was manufactured. What I believe happened is this. I believe that 2 things could have occurred. 1, the girl Amelia Cruz was a classically trained singer. They probably did not like her sound. 2, the Orish probably was very shy. So in the studio, according to the Unsung episode, they decided that they were going to keep the girl signed to Big 10 Records. They get the deal with Motown, but this is what happens. They want to keep Lamisha, but they want to get rid of everybody else. Or Irish decides that she going to keep her spot because Lamisha's fighting for her sister because she's like, I got to have one sibling family member beside me because we're a family act. So it's like, okay, if Irish can prove herself in the studio, we will keep her. But Amelia and Orish is a definite no. This is my criticism behind it. I believe Amelia wasn't going for the games because a classical trained singer can hold their own in a studio. Okay. And I know this for a fact because I took lessons when I was a kid. And if you could pass classical singing, my music teacher said you can sing anything pretty much because you have the training and the foundation to handle various musical genres. Now, if they said, she was a raw singer that never had any training, fine, I could believe it. But it doesn't make sense. So I believe they didn't want her because she probably could have been outspoken. Maybe she didn't want to do the things she wanted to do. And because I did hear that Michael Bivins, and I read about him too, that he wasn't the nicest person to deal with. He wasn't the nicest person as a business person. Also, too, I think Orish was just shy. She could have been shy and uncomfortable in the studio. Maybe singing in the studio wasn't for her. It could have been mostly live because they did say the recordings, it wasn't good. Now, I'm going to go a little bit deeper. According to Unsung, Amelia and Orish were definite no. And Amelia was heartbroken. And I could understand that. Now, I'm going to go into the second phase of the group. Michael Bivins does a talent scout at the Las Vegas Academy of Performing Arts. And he scouts for 2 new replacements. He chooses one girl named Tiffany Villarreal and a second one is Camila Williams. Now, we all know Camila lasts, but Tiffany only lasts for like 2 months and she dropped. Tiffany goes on to record Shorty Doo-Wop with Baby Bash. So we know that, Shorty Doo-Wop, yeah. So we know that's what happened with her career. And she was big in Japan, but she never really popped off in the States. But hey, I'll give it to her. She tried. Now, she basically left. She didn't get kicked out the group. She just left for her own solo career. Now, Camila. I believe Camila, I keep calling her Camellia because I do think she's a chameleon. I have my issues with her too. I'm going to go into it later. But I believe that Camila was picked to be in the group in a way of sort of like She was industry. She had been in commercials as a kid. She was more industry than Irish and Lamisha. She had the jingle. She was in commercials. She kind of guest starred in local theater areas here and there. She was industry. A lot of times in industry, from what I've read and did my research, people who are connected in the industry is who they want to be in a group. She could have been connected through her father, maybe through her mother, maybe through a grandparent or uncle. And a lot of times, a lot of these people are plugged into these groups because their parents, grandparents, or uncles and aunts did favors for these people years ago. So it's like, you got to pay me back because I helped you out. Now I want you to help me out. I want you to put my granddaughter, my daughter, my niece in this group. And we even. And that's what I think happened, because I'm going to explain to you why. Because right after Camila got in the group, although Lamisha, this concept was built around Lamisha, y'all going to give Camila the lead. Okay, this is the new girl, Camila, and she going to sing all the leads on most of the songs. I didn't think that was fair. That's why I really couldn't support 702 like I wanted to, because I love the song, this little game that we play, but when I saw that, I was like, there's some kind of trickery going on. That's not fair. Because if Lamisha was there in the beginning and the girl can sing and the girl brought us a top 5 hit, why is this new girl coming in there like she's the lead? That's not fair. I didn't like that. So that's one criticism I have of 702. Nothing personal with Irish and Lamisha. Now, I'm going to go into the second phase of 702. This is when they're coming out with their debut album. We get the hit Steelo. Now, Steelo came out in the late summer of 1996. I was still in junior high. I love Steelo. Steelo was my shit. I even bought Steelo. Steelo, the single, was my shit. And Steelo was a big hit in New York, especially in Harlem. We used to bump that shit on the radio daily. I used to bump it in my house. I love Steelo, okay? And we know Missy brought Steelo. And if it wasn't for acts who were up and coming, she wouldn't have been able to work with Aaliyah, which means that she wouldn't have blew up the way she did. It was up and comers that gave Missy her career. Okay? Now, Steelo didn't become the hit like I thought it did. It was a top 20 R&B hit, but it was a top 40 hit. And I love the vocals on that. I will say Camila did her thing vocally on Steelo. But I was very upset that the co-writer of Steelo didn't license that song, because that was their big break. That was a very important era in music history. And you got to be an evil bastard not to allow yourself to get paid on a song so that you could have licensed it so that we could have heard the complete bio of these girls' story. Now, I'm going to go in on the song Get It Together. Get It Together was their signature hit, because Get It Together was their first top 10 hit. And it went number 3 on the R&B chart. It was number 10 and number 3. Now I remember this for a fact. Get It Together was a good song, but it wasn't one of my favorite because it was just so like, it was like a moody song. It was like very like, it's not the good, don't ever listen to that song when you're feeling down and out. Don't listen to that song, because it's the whole like arrangement is very like, I don't want to say depressing, but it's very like, it's like a Debbie Downer kind of type of mode. Like if you're like a Debbie Downer, that's like the perfect song for a bitch that is not happy. That is a perfect song for a bitch that's not happy. I'm just going to say that. Now, this single goes gold, Steelo goes gold, but in the end of 97, Get It Together goes platinum, okay? Now, afterwards, we get the song No Doubt. Now, I love the song No Doubt because it showcased all their vocals, and it gave them a chance to say that, you know, Lamisha can really hold her own. Irish can hold her own, because that's the first time we really heard her sing. And then Camila, of course, she had been on the lead for two songs, so we know. And then All I Want, I like that because it was more for the kids. And even All I Want, they crossed over with it. That was a top 40 hit too. No Doubt wasn't really a top 40 hit in America, but it was pretty much big in the UK. So their album, they completed, they go gold, which is pretty important. As much as I hate Motown, I will say on that note, they did good with that. Whatever budget they were probably given is probably why they didn't really weren't able to promote it as much, because they were a new group. You got to prove yourself the first album to see by the second album if you can get a bigger budget for promotions. That's just the way the business is. Okay, now I'm going to go into the area I want to go into and talk. Around this time, 1997, around this time, while at 702 is wrapping up promotion, there's this group down south with 4 girls, kind of around the same age as 702, but they're still teens, meaning they're not illegal. And they're coming out of Houston, Texas. And they signed to Columbia Records. They got a song on the Men in Black soundtrack, but it doesn't do anything. But they get ready to come back with their signature hit. And that group is Destiny's Child. And we got to talk about Destiny's Child, because this is my criticism with Unsung. You did not discuss the rise of Destiny's Child, because this is very important. 702 paved the way for Destiny's Child. If it wasn't for 702 knocking down that door and proving that a black female teen group can be successful crossing over the pop, the radio wouldn't have took Destiny's Child serious, okay? Now, with Destiny's Child, they come out with the song No, 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 Part 1 and Part 2. Part 1 they came out with first, of course. That was more slow, simple. I had Part 1 on a video. I even bought the video to it. Part 1 did nothing. But Part 2 was the shit, okay? But Wyclef Jean and their connection to Wyclef Jean is what got them through the door. See, what it was is like 702 had Missy, but Missy was an up and coming as well. But Wyclef Jean, he was like, you know, he had like real name recognition. So it was like, I could introduce these girls to the world, and y'all gonna believe me because I went diamond. These girls are blowing up. I could make these chicks blow up too. And that's what happened. No, 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 Part 2 goes number 1 on the R&B charts and number 3 on the pop charts. And the single goes double platinum. Now 702 got real competition because these girls was doing something that they couldn't do. Now, 702 goes back in the studio and they come out with the song Where My Girls At. However, Lamisha is pregnant, which is not a good time to get pregnant on a second album. It's like something that, it's like an unspoken rule. You don't get pregnant around a second album. You get pregnant after your second album, because the second album you gotta prove who you are as an artist. It's just an unspoken rule, so to speak. But even though she's pregnant, she had the baby. While she's pregnant, they filmed the video for Where My Girls At. Now, for Where My Girls At goes number 3 on the R&B charts. It goes number 4 on the pop charts, which makes it a top 5 hit, their first. But it also goes number 1 on the U.S. Rhythmic chart, which was a chart basically for exclusively R&B songs. What makes that song Where My Girls At a number 1 hit. Now, this should have made them very big. You know, the single goes platinum. It goes platinum. But they say internal fighting caused the group to decline. Now, I did research on the other 2 singles because they had 2 songs that came out afterwards. One of them was called You Don't Know. And You Don't Know went number 1 on the U.S. mainstream hit, but it only went number 50 on the R&B charts, and it did nothing on the Hot 100. Now, Gotta Leave, which is my favorite by them, only went number 58 on the R&B charts and number 35 on U.S. Rhythmic. Something's wrong right there. I find that a little bit sus, because they just had a big hit that went platinum. There's no way that should have occurred. Now, around this time that Where My Girls At was released, there's another song that's being recorded down at 54th and Madison Avenue at the Sony Studios. And that's Destiny's Child, Bills, Bills, Bills. So Bills, Bills, Bills was released that summer of 1999. And that song, that shit blew up. I remember they played that shit at my Sweet 16 party. Every 15 minutes. Can you pay my bills? All over. That's all over. They was playing it. You couldn't go anywhere that summer without hearing Bills, Bills, Bills. I mean, it was like, damn, like, really? Like, really, bitch? Like, everybody was like, if you can't pay my bills, you can't sleep with me, you can't get any vagina. Like, I mean, I'm being really fair. It was really like that. It really was. So, this song blows up, and you can't escape it wherever you go. Now, meanwhile, 702 has never had a big hit since Where's My Girls At? They never had one. So now we dealing with this whole thing of, okay, Destiny's Child, we kicked the door for y'all, but now Destiny's Child soared. And Destiny's Child did soar, let's keep it real, they soared because of those two, the controversy between getting rid of Latavia and LaToya. We gotta be fair about that, because that really drew a lot of interest too. Now that album, The Writings on the Wall, that shit was fire. Because I love that album, and I bought that album. That album was a classic. It is a classic, okay? All right? You can be a big Beyonce hater, Destiny's Child hater, think they corny, but secretly you love that album, okay? That album goes on to sell not 1 million, not 2 million, not 3 million. It went on to sell 8 million copies in the United States alone, okay? It's a known fact. That album is a classic. Once you have a group that sells 8 million, there's no way a group that goes gold can compete. And I believe that was the beginning of the end for 702. Now, I'm going to go deeper into what I believe happened, which is the cause of the fall of 702. Camila Williams, I saw you on R&B Divas, the final season of that show. You had a nasty attitude. I do believe what Lamisha said, which was you use 702 as a way to springboard your solo career. And here's why I believe it. Not just because of what I saw on R&B Divas, but because I did my research. Around the time after Where My Girls At was being promoted, okay? You were working on solo projects on the side. You were getting ready for your solo career to pop off. You were working with producers who was big. You were signed to Faith Evans' production team. It's a known fact. You can look this up. You recorded solo songs and you did some side work here and there. You left those girls hanging. You didn't want to deal with them anymore. You saw that album, it did what it could do. You saw that Gotta Leave wasn't doing promotion. You don't know. So you said, okay, Destiny's Child is doing big. 702 ain't doing, we're not doing all that good. Let me get out while I can. All right? And you saw that nobody was checking for you out there. So you went back. And I do believe you went back because of the money. But I believe that all of the times when you were singing lead, because what they did was, Motown was, they had you go in the studio without them. Even though you did fight for those girls, they were bringing that division around. You, instead of just speaking up for them, you shouldn't have went in the studio. You should have said, we go in the studio together. Because if you was really down for 702, you would have said, I'm going to the studio when my girls go in the studio. Now, I may go on a mic separately, but we all got to be in the studio together. We just can't do this one-on-one because there's going to be division being brought up. I don't feel comfortable with this at all. You didn't do that. Even though you may not have felt it was right, you still went in the studio by yourself. Now, My thing with homegirl, what's her name? With Lamisha is that Lamisha felt betrayed because it's like, this is my group. I started this group in the late 80s, okay? I was doing this group when I was like 10 years old. And first, you're going to take my lead song. You're going to take me away as a lead. Then you got the freaking nerve to wait until I'm pregnant to be like, okay, we're going to replace you. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but at the time, Orange replaced Lamisha. And this is why I'm starting to call bullshit on them getting rid of her. Because if Orange wasn't a good singer, why would you replace her? Why would you replace Lamisha with Orange? If Orange can't sing. This is why I feel that Camila was a plug. That they was plugging her in a group and that she was connected to somebody big in the industry. Because why would you get rid of Orange because she's not singing on key? But you want to bring her back to replace Lamisha while she's pregnant. It don't make sense. I'm sorry. That's why I feel that if 702 original lineup would have stayed the same, unless Amelia would have left on her own or Orange would have left on her own, by them forcing those two girls out like that, I believe that it kind of stifled 702 to grow like they should have. That's just my feeling. Like, to be honest with you, I'm going to say a couple of things. I'm going to go into a little bit more depth. So basically, Lamisha never really felt that shit. And they started not getting along. And the final straw was that Camila's mother said something. And Lamisha went and picked up the vase on the table and was getting ready to throw it at her. It was some shit that said it. And I believe what it was that Lamisha didn't like the fact that I built the group. And Camila, you never said thank you. You've pretty much been using us underhandedly to get your foot in the door as a solo artist. And you leaving us handed by ourselves. And you never said thank you. And I believe her mother could have said something that ticked her off. And it was like, you know what? No, bitch, no. And even though she could have been wrong for calling her mother a bitch, and maybe she took her anger out on her mother, and maybe her mother could have said something really deep. That, I think, was really what was the end all of the group, too. Now, I'm going to say something else, too. Sonia Norwood has never been my cup of tea. And having her as a manager, I think, in a way, was on some backstabbing shit, too. Here's why. Sonia Norwood has only been riding for two people, Brandy and Ray J. Everybody else could kick rocks. And the fact that Irish, because I do remember Irish dating Ray J, she said it was 8 years. If you started dating him in 1997, you broke up with him in 2005, that means at the same time he was dating Kim Kardashian and Little Kim while he was with you. You basically wasted good years on a man like that. Irish, I mean, I'm not mad at you dating him because at that time, he wasn't a horrible human being. But what Ray J has become is like, oh God. Irish, you should have pulled the plug on that by 1999. Okay, now I'm going to go back. I still feel as though Camila was a plug. I still feel that if the two sisters would have been there before, 702 would have became a bigger group. I'm just going to stick to that. I feel that way. I will stand by that. I feel that Camila never really appreciated being a member of the group. I just think that it was this one thing like, I'm going to rock with this while it's good, while it's great, but I'm going to find a way out. And she did try to do it, but the people wasn't feeling her. They was feeling Beyonce. They was feeling Ashanti. They was feeling Monica. They were feeling, who else they were feeling? They were feeling, who else was out? Rihanna. Like, they was feeling those people. They weren't feeling her because to me, I don't see Soul Star from her. I see her as a leader of a group. That's all. That's just my thing. And when she was on R&B Diva, she had an attitude. She really did have an attitude. Now, this is where I'm going to say my criticism of Unsung comes in. Unsung. You should have mentioned Destiny's Child. That was an important area in music history. They soared. And 702 didn't. But if it wasn't for 702, Destiny's Child would not have been big as they were. And I was a hardcore Destiny's Child fan. And I had predicted that 702 was going to be popular for a while, but a group was going to be big that was going to take everything by storm. And that group was Destiny's Child. I predicted that. When I used to be in high school, chicks used to hate me for this because a lot of people were 702 fans. And I liked 702, but I wasn't like a 702 diehard fan. I wasn't like a Destiny's Child fan. Like, I was a Destiny's Child stan from day one. Okay? But I predicted it. And I will say, I never gave 702 that respect. And I think that as Destiny's Child fans, we need to give them that respect. Because if it wasn't for 702 breaking that door down for black teen female acts, Destiny's Child wouldn't have gotten as easier. They got it a little bit easy because of 702. So we Destiny's Child fans and even Beyonce fans, we gotta appreciate 702 for that. And we need to keep it we need to keep it real. Excuse me for cursing the way I am, but I just have passion about this topic. We need to keep it real. And a lot of Destiny's Child fans, especially Beyonce fans, y'all don't keep it real. And that's why I had to separate myself from y'all, because me as a day one, y'all a little bit too crazy, which are bullshit. Sorry, but I'm just being honest. Now, I'm gonna wrap it up with this. I thought it was sad seeing what happened with Orish. That was a real beautiful soul. The fact that this girl got kicked out of a group and didn't hold any malice to her sisters, when the group fell apart by 03, she got her sister Lamisha a job in a hotel. Lamisha went on to become the director of the wedding chapels in one of the hotels in Las Vegas. Then you have her helping Irish become a bookkeeper at a job. She goes on to become an accountant. She's now an accountant. Maybe she went to school for it. I'm sure. Hopefully she got her CPA exam. And this young lady passes away from autoimmune hepatitis. But I read that it was like kidney disease. Then we have the young lady, Amelia. She has a beautiful family. She has 4 children. She's happily married, and she's never stopped performing. And she's a freelance makeup artist. She still lives in the Las Vegas area. And, she's still dreaming. She's still performing. She has a dance troupe. She's still living out her dreams. It didn't happen the way it did, but she has a happy ending. And as far as Lamisha and Irish go, they too have a happy ending because they've settled down. Lamisha married the man who she had her first child with at 21. And Irish has 2 children of her own. Camila, she goes on to have a relationship with Music Soul Child, which it didn't look right to me. But she have a son, and it's sad that her son is autistic. But they have children, and, there is a light in the tunnel. And the 702 story for me states that even though they didn't become the big pop stars that they could have became, they're happy. For the most part, they dealt with what was handed to them. Even the loss of a sibling, they handle it. You haven't heard anything bad about 702 with drugs, stripping, nasty. You haven't heard anything like that. Now, as far as the reunion, I don't think it's going to happen too good because what Lamisha said about Camila wanting to springboard her solo career through 702, even though this was filmed 7 months ago, there's no way you could have a friendship behind that. I just think that it's business purposes on Camila's part. If you look at the last scene where they revisited their high school, the Las Vegas Academy of Performing Arts, Camila is talking to them, and she's talking about her spirits in the group and how they were fit, they had fun. But if you look at Irish and Lamisha, they ain't really looking at her too good. They kind of looking at her as sus. It's like, yeah, like, bitch, you really wasn't down for 702 after a while. Maybe in the beginning, but not really down. And that's what I picked up. I just pick up that they're doing this for business reasons, which is a smart move. But I really think that Camila now wants it more than the Grinstead sisters. I think that they're very happy with everything that it is. And here's why. They wasn't trying to come back in the industry like that before. And I think that Camila was the one that came up with that idea. That's just my thing. But I'm happy that 702 was able to have an Unsung. This was a long overdue Unsung. I just got another criticism. They should have been the season premiere opener. Because what y'all did with Entume, child, I don't know. And as far as that goes, I'm just going to say something else too. And that is, in the music industry of today, we don't have many R&B singers. We don't have R&B groups anymore. It's like hip hop has wiped that shit out. And I feel as though if these groups can come back, it could be the beginning of saving R&B. Because people out here like myself, we have a thirst for music again. We have a first. I am a huge R&B fan. I love R&B music. And I feel that we're not hearing R&B anymore. Beyonce ain't giving us R&B. She giving us hip hop, rap, but she ain't giving us R&B anymore. You know, that whole new album she had, it ain't R&B. I don't know what it is. It's hip hop. But with these young girls, if they could come back, even with an album and something, if this could be the beginning of saving R&B, then I'm supporting them. If they ever have a show in the NYC area, I'm really gonna try to go to the show and support them and really have a good time. And pretty much on that note, this is your girl, Miss Analytical, signing off. I hope you enjoyed this episode of my show. Please share this video. Make a comment. Please just hit me up on YouTube, Miss Analytical. Subscribe, hit that bell to receive those notifications. Hit the like button, and peace.